Good evening, everyone. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Everyone, please stand for a short prayer and a salute to our flag. Almighty God, grant us the wisdom to make those decisions that are in the best interest of all our residents. May the Heavenly Father of us all bless those who have given the ultimate sacrifice in service to our nation, and may He watch over and protect our servicemen and women now guarding the gates of freedom. Salute to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Statement of publication.
Take notice that this regular agenda meeting of the Mayor and Borough Council being held on this 9th day of February 2026 has been posted and advertised in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975.
Roll call.
Councilpersons Blumer.
Here.
Khaleesi.
Here.
Novak.
Here.
Rios.
Here.
Sinarski.
Here.
Zabrowski.
Here.
Okay. Council President, approval of prior minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I move the following minutes of the mayor and council be approved on roll call vote, subject to correction if necessary, and that is the January 29th, 2026 minutes.
Your motion?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilperson Zabrowski.
Yes.
Blumer.
Yes.
Khaleesi.
Yes.
Novak.
Yes.
Rios.
Yes.
Sinarski.
Yes.
Okay, this is a follow-up from our last meeting. It concerns the Borough Skate Park, and it concerns a wonderful, wonderful resident who's gone on. He left us a very short time ago. His name was Troy Jankowski. And there were many people involved in the skate park, but it wouldn't have happened because you always need one person to pull it all together, and that was Troy. And we just needed to verify that. So with that, I'll ask our liaison to Recreation, Mike Khaleesi.
Good evening, everybody. At our last meeting, I did request that this item be carried to tonight's agenda so that we could take the time to reach out to some of the individuals who were involved with this creation at inception. So after speaking with those recommended by the mayor, including other members of the skate park community, I received unanimous support and heartfelt appreciation for the contributions made by Troy. So with that in mind, I'm proud tonight to make the motion that the Kennedy Park Skate Park be formally dedicated in memory of Troy Jankowski.
Is there a second?
Second.
Comments? Roll call.
Councilpersons Khaleesi.
Yes.
Blumer.
Yes.
Novak.
Yes.
Rios.
Yes.
Sinarski.
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Yes.
I know there were people that came tonight to support this motion. Who would like to speak first? Rebecca? You're not going to speak. Rich, you were a right-hand man to Troy in that project.
First of all, thank you very much for doing that. Troy came to me in 2002 and said that he heard that there was some grant money and if I could help out in any way. I was no longer in the skate community at the time. And we got.
Rich, if you'd speak in the mic.
Sorry.
Thanks.
So we got in touch with Mr. O'Brien, and we got the wheels in motion. Mr. Lewis, also from the middle school, was involved early on.
I couldn't remember his name.
Yeah, I was wondering where he was right now, but and everything got going, and Troy reached out to Wally Holiday, which was the premier skate park builder in California at the time, and New Jersey did not have a skate park, especially a concrete skate park, I should say. Mr. Holiday was from Cherry Hill, New Jersey originally, So he was very interested in coming back east and helping us out. And we advised him we only had $50,000 in grant money, and he provided us with a skate park valued at $85,000 for $50,000. And that was all through Troy's communication and dedication to getting that done. I think I was the first one to break bones in that skate park. That was a few weeks after it was finished, and I haven't been on a skateboard since. I'm very happy and proud that this is going to be named after him, and it's very nice.
Rich, you won an award. That skate park won an award for skate parks that were 10,000 square feet, if I remember correctly.
I vaguely remember that, yes.
But Rich, you're younger than I am.
But, all right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak? Would anyone else like to speak on behalf of Troy and Becky? Okay.
Thank you so much.
Becky, hand her the tissues.
The whole box.
Give her the box.
Just want to thank everybody very much. That park was his pride and joy, as some of you know. And he worked very hard to keep it clean. And he was out there constantly sweeping it, painting it. He got volunteers together for it. He'd be out there alone. He'd be out there with the guys, constantly taking care of it. I just want to thank you very much. It means a lot to us and our family. Thank you.
Thank you, Beck. He's a remarkable guy. He was dedicated and devoted and just a remarkable guy. And it'll be a long time before I meet somebody of his caliber. With that, I'm going to ask his mother-in-law to speak.
Wow.
Come on, Peg. We'll get you a box to stand on. I haven't signed him yet.
I'd like to thank, I can do that.
Much better.
I'd like to thank you for doing this for my daughter. It means a lot to her. It means a lot to us. That park was his pride and joy. It was his baby. And he just took pride in that. And he's glad he could have it done.
Well, you had a wonderful son-in-law there, and the
Yeah,
borough had a wonderful, wonderful resident, so.
He was a pip.
Yeah, 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 yeah. He was a good man, a
Yes.
very good man.
Yes.
So,
Thank you very much.
Our pleasure, Peg. Is there anyone else? Okay. Becky, now you can go home. But thank you for coming. And thank you for lending the borough your husband for 25 years. He dedicated himself for 25 years to, virtually 25 years to the park. Yep, yep. Thank you.
Mayor, may I say something?
Go ahead.
I was, when this first came up, I knew Troy, of Troy's, I never knew he was married to Becky. Becky was always Becky Grabowski to me. And I never put two and two together until this came up. And I'd also like to say about Mr. Bellotti, he is the first one to injure himself in that skate park. I took him to the hospital, and I want you to know, he had every piece of protective equipment on him, wrist, elbow, and he managed to break his arm right in between all the protectors, so.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Anything for executive? All right, then we'll move on to old business.
Public hearing on ordinance number 1-26, an ordinance supplementing and amending ordinance number 3-24, fixing the salaries of certain borough officials, officers, and employees for the years 2023 to 2027.
This time I'll open the public portion for questions or comments on ordinance 126. Are there any questions or comments? There being none, I'll entertain a motion.
Move the-
Councilwoman Novak.
I move the public hearing be closed, the ordinance adopted on second and final reading and advertised according to law.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilpersons Novak.
Yes.
Blumer. Khaleesi.
Yes.
Rios.
Yes.
Sonarski.
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Yes.
Public hearing on ordinance number 2-26, and ordinance supplementing and amending ordinance number 2-24, fixing the salaries of certain borough officials, officers, and employees for the years 2025 to 2027.
This time, I'm going to open the public portion for questions or comments on ordinance 226. Are there questions or comments? Being none, I'll entertain a motion. Councilwoman Novak.
I move the public hearing be closed, the ordinance adopted on second and final reading and advertised according to law.
Is there a second? Roll call?
Councilpersons Novak.
Yes.
Blumer.
Yes.
Khaleesi.
Yes.
Rios.
Yes.
Sonarski.
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Yes.
Public hearing on ordinance number 4-26, ordinance establishing the Borough Cultural Arts Council in collaboration with the Recreation Advisory Board and amending the terms of the Recreation Advisory Board.
This time, I'll open the public portion for questions or comments on ordinance number 4-26. Are there questions or comments? Being none, I'll entertain a motion. Go ahead, Jim.
Thank you, Mayor Jim Robinson, Parlin. Could I ask Councilman Calucci if he could explain this?
Lacy.
Well, I'll have the attorney
I'm sorry.
explain it. I will have the attorney explain it. Go ahead, Joe.
Well, this is, ordinance came to me because we were looking through all of our ordinances and all of the different boards and committees and working with the clerk's office as well as the recreation department. We realized that there was no ordinance ever actually establishing the cultural advisory committee. It was put together, it was run, but there was no resolution or ordinance that we could find that actually put forth its creation and memorialized that. So it was working together. We put together this ordinance that put together the committee or the commission as, or council as currently operating. So nothing would change. It would be exactly how it is. And since they operate underneath the recreation department, get their funding from the recreation department and so forth, we put it under the recreation subchapter of chapter 2. So it's under section 2-62.
So you're saying they operate under the Recreation Department?
Yes, that's my understanding. That's what I was told.
So they won't be autonomous. They'll operate under, they're a
currently-
council, but they'll operate under an advisory board?
No, they are their own council, but they get their funding from the advisory board. That's how I'm told it was currently operating.
Well, there is a separate line item for cultural arts. There's always been a separate line item for cultural arts in the budget that's different, separate and distinct from recreation.
Yes.
I'm just not understanding why there can't be an ordinance just creating the Cultural Arts Commission of 9 members that are autonomous, that report to the governing body, that have a budget, but that don't have to meet, for instance, before the advisory board meets. I mean,
I just drafted it how I was asked to draft it.
I'm sorry?
I drafted it how I was asked to draft it from the recreation.
Who, did the Cultural Arts Commission ask you to draft it that way?
Oh, Jim, the cultural arts, I had revived it about 2 years ago. And what we needed was an oversight for state procurement regulations, for budgetary, for really the administrative part of it. You had the creative part, but you did not have the administrative part. So the simplest way was to just put it under the Director of Recreation.
Well,
And he makes sure that the procurement is done in the proper
so it
way.
would be under the Director of Recreation.
Well, he will be responsible to make sure that the rules and laws of procurement and background checks, and there's a number of things that had not
Well, that
previously
could be
been
done
done.
if they were their own separate independent.
A lot of things.
This is the only committee, is it called a committee or council? This is the only council that is under another group. Even the Environmental Commission, which is subsidiary to the planning board, isn't under the planning board. They're their own. And okay, let me ask this question. In section E, Joe, of Section 1, letter E, the Cultural Arts Council shall not have the authority to expend public funds without the prior approval of the Borough Council if such expenditure was previously budgeted for and approved by the Borough Council. So one way to read that is if the money wasn't previously budgeted for and approved by the Borough Council, then they have the right to spend that money. So, right?
No.
That's what it says. The Cultural Arts Council shall not have the authority to expend public funds without the prior approval of the council if such expenditure was previously budgeted for and approved by the Borough Council.
That's the only way they're allowed to spend any public funds, is through approval from the council. They have no authority to, that's not
Well, that's not what it says, though.
how I read it.
If such expended, the last part says, well,
It means they only get to spend the
why don't
money
you just
if
put
the
a period
council
after
approves.
Borough Council? And that will make it clear what you want to do. The other just qualifies it and confuses it. So if something isn't budgeted, then they have the right to expend, because this law says only that money that is budgeted, they can't expend, which is contrary to most ordinances. All right, I just think that the Cultural Arts, they're doing a great job, fantastic job. They should be their own, not be subservient to or underneath the Recreation Advisory Council or the Recreation Director.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Ken?
Thank you, Mayor. Ken Olszewski, Saraville. I've been involved with the cultural arts programs and attending them for years within the borough. May have attended more programs than anybody in the borough. Madeline Suchowicki ran this program for years and years, and she had a board with her, and they were a pretty faithful board, and they had programs in the senior center. Madeline died, and when she died, Edna Pilch, I believe it was, had taken it over for a few years. It was a separate entity. Their budget was $6,000 a year. They weren't part of anything else. I don't know what the paperwork was. Now, that could be true. Yeah. I have a little problem. I don't know how these ordinances get established. It's the old story. Where are the agenda meetings? Who authorizes these ordinance to be even put on paper here? The attorney to draw them up? Does he do it for free? Do you do it for free, Counselor?
Don't answer.
Don't answer. Yeah, you're afraid to answer because you're blowing old borough
Ken,
money.
Ken, with a guy
Who
like
gives
you, I'm
him-
afraid of
who-
nothing.
Who authorizes these to be put
It's
on
a
the agenda?
discussion. You know, Ken, we were trying to, this is the issue. And everybody that in the last 2 years was new. They had no mentors on how to run it. So they weren't familiar with procurement laws. They weren't familiar with a number of other laws. So what I needed, or what the borough needed, was an administrator whose job was to be very familiar with procurement laws, with the background checks, et cetera, et cetera. Our current cultural arts is a very creative board.
I
That
agree
being
with that. I
said-
said.
Well, Ken, that being said, you always need an administrator in there, and that's what we're ensuring, that we have an administrator, so there'll never be a problem on that side.
And who is the administrator?
The rec director,
The rec
Ryan
director.
Van
Yeah.
Dungen.
I can't imagine. I think they're doing a great job. I haven't been to any of the newer programs down, but I hear nothing but good things about them. And I see no reason why they can't be maintained as a separate entity. I think this is a sham. I think it's the same thing that you tried, that you cut out. You had to be a resident of Saraville to be on a board, and some of the things you've done with the Historical Society. I think it's a grudge against somebody. Thank you.
Okay, Sharon?
Sharon Rudis, 22nd Street. I just wanted to talk about the budget real quick because I thought I understood from Michael.
Sharon, this isn't, the budget's not set.
No, I know, no.
No,
We were
this is
talking
about
about
this.
the line item. That was all I was going to ask. I thought we were told we were
It's
going
on
to
the-
have a separate
It's not on the,
budget.
Sharon, we're only discussing the issues on,
He just brought it up that we're not having a separate budget. That's the only reason I'm asking.
Joe, you
No,
want?
I didn't say that. I just said it was, my understanding was they had currently operated, the council is currently operating under the rec director. I never said anything about budget items. I
We didn't operate under the rec director last year.
Well, going forward, Sharon, the board, like I said, has no shortage of creativity. It has a shortage of administrative experience.
We
And
agree.
that's what this ordinance addresses.
Okay. When will we hear how the budget will be taken care of? Because Michael told me it would be separate from recreation.
You'll be given a budget.
Okay.
Nothing's
thank you.
changed.
Okay.
Nothing has changed.
Is there anyone else? All right. Being no one else, I'll entertain a motion. Mike, Mary?
Uh,
No, I'm sorry, Mike.
Can I just make a statement first? Do you mind, Kennedy?
What are you doing, Mary?
Can I make a statement?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just so everybody knows, the committees, every committee and every council, every commission is under a specific department. Under, like, the environmental is under water and sewer. And in this particular case, recreation, because I was in charge of recreation once, and I know that cultural arts was listed under recreation, as well as Office on Aging, Human Relations, and the library is even under recreation. I think we've had some confusion here. This is, the first ordinance I felt was a little, it was a little bit over the top. This is, Brian is there, and I've talked directly to Brian. He is there to help you administratively. If you need porta potties, what permits you would need to have food trucks there, everything like that. And this is what I have been told. It probably shouldn't have been under the rec advisory board. It should have been just listed under recreation, because you need it says collaboration. It doesn't say under. And again, you're going to have your own separate budget. And if the things you want to purchase or is within that budget, it's already approved by the mayor and council because it will be approved in the budget.
Just go on.
It is, for as long as I've been sitting here, and this is my 20th year, cultural arts has always had a line item. I was shocked to find out it didn't have an ordinance. That was something that probably went back to Uncle John, Mayor Chernikowski. Everybody called him Uncle John. This could have been handled in a much better way, but I will follow through on every promise that I am making here, that you are autonomous, that you're not responsive to the Recreation Advisory Board at all, to the Recreation, the department, the paid people. They are there to help you. And there's certain things that a commission cannot do, like accept money or sign contracts that the lawyer hasn't gone over. And this is all the help you need from the Recreation Department, because damn, you're doing a great job. I mean, everything you've done has been well attended. Everybody loves it. But I hope that this will pass through, just because I want you people to start working. If this doesn't go through tonight, it's going to be another month and 10 days for a possible veto. So, we're talking, it's going to be the end of March before you actually get appointed. So I am promising you, I will follow through on everything that was promised. You will have your own budget. Nobody is going to tell you how to run your things except what is allowed under law. We really think you guys are great, and I'm sorry for all the confusion. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. With that, Councilman Calucci?
Move the public hearing to be closed. Ordinance adopted on second, final reading
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilpersons Khaleesi,
Yes.
Blumer,
One question. I just want to be clear. They will have their own budget.
We can't hear you.
No, I just want to be clear that they will have their own budget.
Yes.
Yes.
Novak,
Yes.
Rios.
I just, before I vote, I know we have a time issue and if it doesn't, like Mary said, if it doesn't go through, then we'll have weeks, of lost time. And I really, really want them to get to work. I'm really proud of what they've done and I can't wait to see what they could do. I still think that they should be their own committee. And I would only vote if I have reassurance that they will be autonomous. Is that?
No, you have to, wait a minute, you're given a budget. So when there are questions about the budget, they don't come to us, they go to Brian.
I just,
Administratively and financially, they go to Brian,
okay.
all right?
My vote is yes. Then.
Sinarski,
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Yes, with just a quick comment. In spite of what some say, I want to thank everybody that's here this evening that was part of the construction of that ordinance. It was a lot of hard work on their part in order to be able to get what we have here for them. And it was for that purpose, to hear them and make sure that that was correct. So my answer is yes, and thank you very much for all your help.
Okay. Appointments? Okay. Tonight's appointments. There are no openings on Commission on Aging, or there are openings? Okay, okay. So for two 3-year members on the Commission of Aging, first one is Julia Gomez, and the second person is Barty Shaw. Is there a motion?
I move the mayor's appointments be approved on roll call vote.
Is there a roll call?
Councilpersons Novak,
Yes.
Blumer,
Yes.
Khaleesi,
Yes.
Rios,
Yes.
Sinarski,
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Okay, now that the cultural arts has been established by ordinance, we received 10 applications for appointment onto the cultural arts. It's a 9-person board, and it's 9-person because you need an odd number of people so that there's not a tie. So the fairest way we came up with on appointments is in the order in which the clerk's office received the application. So so there are 3 3-year members, 4 2-year members, and 2 1-year members. So for the 3 1-year, for the 3 slots for a 3-year member, Jessica Vant, Deborah Gordon, Sangeeta Das. For the 4 2-year members, Brian McHugh, Michelle Babino, Christopher Cuneo, and Gregory Cuneo. For the 2 1-year members, Sharon Rodas and Brianne Rogers. Barty, you're the 10th person. I'm sorry. Is there a motion?
Yeah, I'll make the motion, please.
Is there a second? Roll call?
Councilpersons Khaleesi,
Yes.
Blumer,
Yes.
Novak,
Yes.
Rios,
Yes.
Sinarski,
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Okay, there you go. Thank you, Cultural Arts, and you can have your first meeting, I think you said March, Nicole? March 5th. here in Borough Hall?
Yeah, no, it'll be at the Sedlak Center.
Okay, at the Sedlak Center. What time? 7 o'clock?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. Okay, and it's an open public meeting.
Public meeting, I'll advertise it for Friday.
Okay, thank you. Next order of business is new business. Jessica?
Introduction of the following ordinances, ordinance number 5-26, an ordinance amending Chapter 2 Administration, Section 2-41, Human Relations Commission of the Revised General Ordinances of the Borough of Saraville.
Councilman Kalasi?
I just want to add a little something that this ordinance is requested because previously the Human Relations Commission has added new members and re-energized itself. So in the past, they had challenges holding quorums at their meetings. So hopefully this will eliminate the issue. So right now, I'd like to make the motion to introduce. I move that the ordinance be approved on the first reading, advertised according to law, and a public hearing to be held on February 23rd. That's it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilpersons Khaleesi,
Yes.
Blumer,
Yes.
Novak,
Yes.
Rios,
Yes.
Sinarski,
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Yes.
Introduction of ordinance number 6-26, Borough of Saraville, County of Middlesex, ordinance amending the rates for towing and storage service.
Councilwoman Novak?
I move the ordinance be approved on first reading, advertised according to law, for a public hearing to be held on February 23rd.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilpersons Novak,
Yes.
Blumer,
Yes.
Khaleesi,
Yes.
Rios,
Yes.
Sinarski,
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Yes.
Okay, this time we're going to go over consent agenda items.
One more thing, Mr. Mayor.
I'm sorry, resolutions. I'm sorry. What?
Last time you had assigned me to HRC, but I was told that's under recreation.
We'll
I
work
mean,
it out.
this is something that I really want to do, but I could
Okay.
be second to.
Well,
if-
Hervé, I'm working on it.
Okay.
We have a meeting tomorrow, that's why I'm asking.
You should attend.
You could always attend
Okay.
every meeting, every council person, every meeting.
No, you'd have a quorum. You can't do
Oh.
that.
I mean, not every, but one of yous could show up.
Yeah.
I don't mean the whole group.
Somebody did that.
Okay, go ahead over the rezos.
Yeah, I just want to make a correction for, on resolution number 2026-75 for the animal control services. It is going to be a 2-year contract.
Okay, questions or comments on these rezos? Jim?
Thank you, Mayor. I couldn't hear the clerk's comment on the correction. I'm sorry. Could you please repeat that?
It is a 2-year contract.
On which one?
75, the animal control.
75? Okay. Well, let me ask about that one because I asked about the contract for animal control services at the last meeting. And the administrator said that that had expired in December, that it cost to roll it over was going to be something like 25%, and it was cost prohibitive. They would not do a month to month. And now we're awarding them a 2-year contract. So what's happened since?
They submitted for the RFP. They recognized that the proposed cost that they had initially put in front of us was exorbitant. They've agreed to an incremental cost of this year into next year to get us closer to an agreeable term.
And so what is the amount? It doesn't say that in the resolution.
I
which
don't know
think
off
is
the top.
I think the cost is supposed to be in a resolution. But what are the costs for this year and next year? And what's the increase?
Do you know,
You
Danielle?
have it?
Memory serves,
I'm sorry, can you use the microphone, please?
I don't know it off the top of my head, but I can look it up and get back to you tomorrow if that's okay.
I
Okay,
believe
well,
it's
should-
150
does the
for
count- I'm sorry?
26. I believe it is 150 for 26
Jessica's got it.
and 185 for 27, if I recall correctly.
150 and 185?
That's correct.
Okay, but the council should know that before they vote, right? So, okay, and how much was it last year?
I don't know. Danielle?
Probably close to the 160 number, I believe.
Close to what?
About 160.
One?
Yeah, I think estimated.
And this year it's,
We have to understand that it might have been 160 last year because they charge over and above when we're dealing with the feral cat population. That's an addendum to the contract, which drives
okay,
its
well, I'm
own
glad you're
cost.
doing this. I thought this should have been, it should have been renewed. I'm glad it's finally being renewed. Now, does it create a problem that you put out a request for proposals
No,
from
this was
others?
part of the RFP process. They submitted to the RFP. It was reviewed. The numbers were found to be okay, and that's what was recommended to the council for approval.
Okay. Was the original date February when they were due back and we're going to be approved?
I don't know.
February.
You don't know?
They were due back on February 3rd.
When? February 3rd. Okay, I just want to make sure, I'm glad this is being renewed, but I just want to make sure that somebody got an RFP that said they have to be back by February 3rd to be awarded, and then somebody else comes in the meantime and says, oh, I made a mistake, I'm going to lower it, that you don't have a problem. That's all, but I'm glad this is being done. I did want to ask, the agenda says gone speed. I'm sure it means go net speed. They were supposed to make a presentation. I had asked about this, I don't know, a year ago or more, bringing somebody in, and Glenn said that something would happen then, and what happened to them?
They didn't show up.
They didn't show up. Did we confirm with them that they were coming? And
The date was reflected to them on when they would be appearing before the council.
so they didn't show up.
Correct.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Any other questions or comments? Being no other questions or comments, I'll entertain, Council President.
Move the public hearing be closed and the consent agenda resolutions be approved on roll call vote.
Is there a second?
Councilperson Zabrowski.
Yes, and one comment on 2026-73, we're applying for a grant for a disc golf course. This is something that Brian and Rec Department has been working on for several years. I happen to have had the opportunity to play this in another state. I think it would be a great amenity to round out a lot of what we do in our rec program. And my fingers are crossed that we're going to get that grant because I'd really like to see that course come in. And I vote yes for all.
Lumiere?
Yes, to everything but 52 and 55. 52, I don't know what they do. I don't see, I was looking to see what was done for the month of January. I didn't see anything different than what was done before.
I'm sorry, I should have done this at the beginning, Hervé. I asked Jaffe Communications to send me a list of some of their clients. As I've said, they're a medium-sized firm. And the response I got, which I'll read into the record, is Jaffe has worked over the years with government at all levels in the state. The firm is currently under contract with the Robbinsville Board of Education, the Belleville Board of Education, the New Jersey Council on Developmental Disabilities, the Roselle Board of Education, the Education Services Commission of New Jersey, the New Jersey Clean Communities Council, the Middlesex County Tourism Bureau, Middlesex County Regional Chamber of Commerce, the City of Perth Amboy Redevelopment Agency, the Township of Scotch Plains, the Township of Lyndhurst, the Borough of North Arlington, the Township of Belleville, New Brunswick City Center, and the nonprofit Early Childhood Education Advocates, among other public and private entities. It's a qualified.
Oh, no, I don't doubt that. I'm just asking what they do for us because all these other places, I'll check to
Can't
see.
hear, Hervé.
Oh, I said, I don't doubt that they are dealing with all these folks, but I want to see the difference between what they do for us and what they do for them in terms of quality.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
A no on 52 and 55,
No, 55, I have a question.
but no on 52.
No on 52.
Okay.
55, is this a replacement of,
Yes.
And how old was the other one and in terms of?
In the neighborhood of 25 years. It's about the cycle we replace fire trucks, about 25 years old.
Thank you. Yes on that.
Parisi.
Yes.
Novak.
Couple of things I want to say. First of all, I am no on the Jaffe contract because, I mean, I voted no on it last year. I don't care what other towns they work for. I still don't know exactly what we pay them $40,000 for. So I can't vote. I've never seen a contract. I mean, we're awarding a contract. I haven't even seen the contract. And I didn't see one last year either. And also on the bill list, JCP&L, I mean, I know that we still owe them a lot of money because we stopped paying, and I don't think we've even started paying again yet. But I'd like to know if we can legally charge them for what it cost us to put up that warming station when we were out of power here. It's always the same area of town. And they have one thing blow, and that same area goes out for 3 hours on the coldest night of the year. I myself stayed up until the power came back on, shoveling wood in my fireplace, which doesn't usually go all night because I was afraid my pipes were going to freeze. I had all my inside plumbing doors open, trying to keep it. And the town spent a lot of money opening that warming station. And this wasn't a car hit a pole. This wasn't a tree fell on a line. This was their equipment that malfunctioned, and it's happening all too frequently. Can we charge them back? I mean, if I was a resident and I had things go bad in my freezer, I could charge Jersey Central and they'd be responsible for that. Can we charge them back for what it cost us for that?
I'd have to look into that. I honestly, right here on the dais, I'm not sure if we would have legal standing to do that or not. I'd have to look into it.
Well, please
I'm
do,
making a note of
because
that right now on my.
it just seems like, again, accidents happen. I really thought it was going to go out because a tree was going to fall on a line with all of that ice. And I kind of expected that, but to just have this blow for no real reason, it's just because they do not maintain their equipment. But I'm voting yes on everything else except for the Jaffe contract.
Yes, yes on everything, but 52, I'm on the same boat. Although they have an impressive client list, I don't see any value on it as far as what they've done. And from what I understand, they've been doing this for 3 years. I don't see how that it's justified. So there'll be yes on everything but 52.
Zanarski.
Yes.
And Mayor, there's a tie on 52.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I need a motion to accept the correspondence.
Okay.
Motion.
Second.
Councilperson Zabrowski.
Yep.
Blumer.
Yes.
Khaleesi.
Yes.
Novak.
Yes.
Rios.
Yes.
Zanarski.
Yes.
Council reports.
Okay. Mayor and council reports, Councilwoman Novak, Administration and Finance.
Yes, Mayor. I don't really have a lot to report on the budget. We're still in the process of working with the department heads, but I promise you a much more lengthy report at the next meeting. I'd also like at this time to make a motion that we declare the firehouse First Borough Hall next door, give it a motion to give it the historical designation. I think at this point, everybody knows what's going to happen, and maybe if we do this, we can start getting some grants so that we don't have to keep using the open space money. I know that legally we can, but, I'd like to save that for actually trying to buy some open space. Thank you, Mayor. Progress.
Motion made. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilpersons Novak.
Yes.
Khaleesi.
No.
Blumer.
Yes.
Rios.
Yes.
Zanarski.
I'm voting no because I don't know what's going to happen if we name it historical, if we can continue building it the way we're building it. I do not know what is going to happen with the plans that are already established for that building.
Zabrowski.
I vote no too with comment. I agree with Stash. My concern is getting the building moving forward, as I think we are. It's been slow pace as it is. I think there'll be plenty of time to be able to make an appropriate designation at due time.
Mayor, it's 3-3.
I'll vote no.
Can I just make one comment? If we're using money that specifically says we can only use it for historic preservation, why can't we have the designation as a historic designation? If we are concerned that they'll say we can't, spend it the way we want to, then we're illegally spending it from the Historical Preservation Fund. Thank you.
Mary, we're right in the middle of a project, so finish the project. This can be revisited every council meeting.
I realize that. It's just that what was just said, they're afraid that we won't be able to continue, but we're using historical preservation funds. If we can't continue with a historical designation, that doesn't make any sense. That means they're afraid they're spending the money illegally.
Well, first of all, we had our grant writer look into historical grants, and they're few and far between. So had we gone that route where we turned it over to, we went through that designation, the first thing is the council has no say. Once you make that a historical site, and then you appoint somebody or a commission of people to be, they can make the borough spend money they never counted on. So at the moment, it's better, in my opinion. The second thing is there wasn't there was no $3 million available in grants to do the work that we're doing. All that being said, it is being preserved, and the borough has a chronic need for office space, and that's a designation. Remember, with the Historical Society's building now, we pay for everything. We pay for all maintenance, all heat, all repairs, all utilities. We pay for Windex and toilet paper and janitorial services. And it's fine. It serves a purpose. This is just going to be another borough building. So this political thing of making it a historical designation, it's an office. That's what it's going to be, an office.
Then I don't see that we're legally spending the money.
Okay. All right. That's it?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay. Public Safety, Councilman Blamore.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Public Safety, for working 24/7 throughout the winter storm, continuing to provide support and emergency assistance to all residents during and after the storm. We've had 2 fires, one at Crestview Apartments and one at the old electrical plant at River Road. Crestview required police, fire, EMS, and OEM. One resident was displaced and the apartment building sustained minimal damage. Now, the old electric fire plant on River Road required all of that, police, fire, EMS, and OEM, and a hazmat response as well, due to gas/oil burning in a turbine. And of course, they also sustained minimal damage. We had a blown transformer on Main Street in the Town Lake area. OEM activated the warming center at the senior center in case the power outage was for a longer duration. Fortunately, the power outage was only for about 3 hours. Sergeant Jeffrey Taylor graduated from the NJSA COP's Command and Leadership 13-week Leadership Training Academy, and Captain Kiernan and Lieutenant Sheehan attended to represent the agency and show support for Sergeant Taylor's accomplishment. Based on Councilman Skanowski's email and the report of numerous traffic and parking violations in the President Park area and Truman School, traffic safety made their presence known on Wednesday by citing and enforcing moving and parking violations. Traffic safety will be deploying to other residential area and schools based on the complaints of numerous traffic and parking violations. We recognize that people are often in a hurry. However, the safety of our children and the community must always come first. Sayreville PBA hosted a mega raffle drawing and a pocketbook bingo event at Stan Stands, which went very well and was very successful. The PBA is very appreciative of the community for supporting our officers. I've had a lot of productive meetings with various leaders in the town, and will continue to do so. The next one will be a combined meetings with Morgan First Aid and Sayreville Emergency Squads to foster better relations and communications to better serve our town. In other words, these guys will be working together to back each other up. That way we could have a quicker response time. Now, we desperately need volunteers for all fire, first aid, police, OEM, and I am willing to meet with anyone who's interested in volunteering for these places. And it's very important for parents to encourage their children to volunteer. I've been doing this forever in my father's church, now with youth development at my job. So the idea is if anyone has any questions regarding volunteerism, please reach out to me and I promise I will get back to you. And we can talk one-on-one to explain to you the benefit. A lot of people that have volunteered, believe it or not, a lot of the kids that are volunteered in certain area, they now are working in those areas. That's their careers. A lot of kids who want to go to med school, what they do, they volunteer first aid squads. Next thing you know, they apply to med school. And of course, it's always a plus on your application. I work for a medical school. I know. You already get a skill ahead of everybody else. So that's one leg up about volunteerism. Also, I believe the Board of Ed is having a career speakers event from February 23rd to the 27th. Parents are encouraged to talk to their kids about signing up for volunteer work. It's life-changing. Finally, unfortunately, one of our officers recently had a devastating home fire at his residence. The PBA will be assisting him by having a fundraiser, which will take place shortly to raise funds to help him and his family during this time. That is my report, and thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Public Works, Councilman Rios.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, one more thing. I forgot to mention. I'd like to start having a conversation about acquiring and preserving the 40 acres. Marco's 40 acres, if possible.
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying I would like to start to have the conversation. We don't have to have it now. I'm just opening it up because I'll be talking to everyone after.
Okay. You understand he doesn't want to sell the property.
Well,
we go through this once a year. So before the meeting, I'll have the business administrator reach out to Peter Marco to see if his interest level has changed about selling the property. Right now, there's nothing happening to it. So, anyway, it's Jim Robinson's favorite topic, so it'll give him something to write about on Facebook. But Glenn, if you would, reach out to Peter Marco, ask him if his position has changed. Anything else, Councilman?
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. With that being said, Councilman Rios, Public Works.
Good evening, Mayor and fellow council members and the public. As far as Public Works, this time there's nothing new to report regarding operations. We would like to formally commend Craig Fallon for his outstanding work coordinating the snowplow operations and the ongoing storm cleanup efforts, which are still continuing as of today. His organization, leadership, and dedication throughout the storm response was exceptional. We would also like to recognize Dawn and Enza for their professionalism in handling a high volume of storm-related complaints, including interactions with difficult residents. They conducted themselves in a professional and courteous manner at all times, and we are proud to have them as members of our staff. I know there's still snow on the streets, and I don't think there's anything coming as far as in the near future, but we like to recognize that many residents require assistance following significant snow events. Elderly and disabled residents in particular may need help with snow removal from sidewalks and driveways. So we just ask our residents, help your neighbor. Residents seeking snow removal assistance may contact the Sayreville Senior Center at 732-390-7058 to obtain a list of individuals willing to provide snow shoveling services. Please note that this service is not provided free of charge. Residents are responsible for arranging payment directly with the individual performing the work. As a side note, I just want to say that I'm really glad that the elevator is fixed. And I like to stress the importance of using current technological tools to facilitate open discussion with residents who are unable to attend meetings in person. Residents who are elderly, disabled, ill, or just constrained by work obligations. Those residents are currently being excluded from this process. So I'd like to make a motion to reintroduce Zoom meeting participation for council meetings.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, roll call. The motion made was to reinstate Zoom meetings, meaning people call in with questions.
Councilpersons Rios,
Yes.
Lumiere,
Yes.
Khaleesi,
No.
Novak,
Yes.
Sinarski,
No, I don't think it's necessary at this time.
Zabrowski.
No.
It's 3-3, Mayor, and you're.
Recreation, Councilman Khaleesi.
Okay. I'm going to start with Human Relations. In the observance of Black History Month, the committee has selected Mr. Jarrett Lampkin as a distinguished community honoree in recognition for his contributions to education, youth development, and community service. So Mr. Lampkin is a New Jersey native born and raised in Lakewood. He holds a bachelor's degree from Montclair State University and 2 graduate degrees, one from St. Peter's University in education with a concentration in administration and supervision, and another from Rutgers University in math education. So he served as a teacher in the Sayreville Middle School for 16 years, and he's demonstrated a strong commitment to student growth and achievement. In addition, he also serves as the youth ministry director at the Sayre Woods Bible Church. So he provides mentorship and leadership to the youth within the community. So Mr. Lampkin is also recognized as a speaker, an educator, an entrepreneur dedicated to empowering young people. So the Human Relations Committee will host a public recognition ceremony in his honor on February 23rd. Yeah, we have a council meeting that night. At the Sayreville Public Library, 6:30 to 8 o'clock. So we commend Mr. Lampkin for his service and thank him for the positive impact he continues to make within our community. He's an extraordinary person. Office of the Aging, United Way is providing the free income tax preparation for individuals with low income and senior citizens at the Sayreville Adult Center, which is 423 Main Street. All seniors receive this service for free, as do non-seniors who are under the 75,000 income limit. So it's really worth it. It's a great service. So simply drop off your tax documents there. There's a form to fill out. They'll make an appointment with you and follow up and take care of your tax needs. No charge. That's a big savings. So some upcoming things at the senior center. Friday, February 13th, they're going to have 11 a.m. They have a Medicare fraud presentation. Thursday, February 19th, they're having their monthly bus trip to Super Walmart. You have to reserve a spot for that. Friday, February 20th, from 10 to 12, they're doing portraits, social. And then Monday, February 10th at 11:30, they're going to have a health education seminar. And now on to recreation. I attended the first meeting where we approved the events for the 2026 calendar. And they'll be posted chronologically on the recreation website and the social media Facebook. So the next event is going to be February 20th. That's the LED mini golf that will be inside of the senior center. That's going to be from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. So registration for Sayreville Recreation's spring programs is now open. So check out the website for everything that they have to offer. It includes things like adult yoga, parent and me painting, skateboarding, performance training, and a few others. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to Nick Jenkins directly at njenkins@sayreville.com. And he can answer any questions or inquiries that you have about that. So as a reminder, there's still time to sign up for Recreation's Murder Mystery Show and Adult Canvas Painting Night. So, and all that information is posted as well. Recreation is now accepting applications for camp counselors at Burks Park Camp. Applications must be at least 15 years of age, or have completed a CIT program, a counselor in training. So applications are available on the recreation website. So that's all I have for now. From your favorite councilman.
Thank you, Councilman. Water, Sewer, Environmental, Councilman Sinarski.
Thank you, Mayor. Last week, we had the environmental meeting, and that was also attached to the farmers meeting. The farmer first registration is going to be February 19th, Mickey Sedlak Hall, 6:30 p.m. There's going to be another one, March 19th, same time, same place, 6:30 p.m. And that you can buy a $40 plot. I met a gentleman the other day that I'm inviting him, and he was such a nice guy. I told him, I'll pay for your plot. His wife died. He needs something like this, and I think it's the best thing for him to do. So I'm even going to sponsor him if he can't even afford to do it. So he's going to make sure he comes to the meeting, and he will be there. The water department, the main thing in the water, the pipes are freezing all over town. The frost is leveling, changing the ground heights and everything else. Pipes are breaking all over town. So there's a lot of repairs all over town with water. The best thing you guys could do, like for your outside faucets and everything else, make sure you got them styrofoam little covers that go on your faucets so they don't break for you. That's very important to do. And don't leave your hose connected to the spigot either. Make sure your hoses are disconnected from your spigots. I had some issues with Upper Main Street up here, residents and businesses complaining to me about the snow. So thanks to Glenn and George from the road department, we had the snow removed from possibly Dolan Street all the way up to the end toward OLV. So residents can park, so businesses can be open in front of Sunnyside Up restaurants, Cerebral Seafood. They could park for the Beyond Bomber Cafe across the street. So we tried to make room for everybody. So everybody's happy about that. I had other issues with residents complaining about the speed limits in their areas, where it was Laurel Park was one of them, Pine Tree, all the streets up there behind the high school. And we have an increased police presence there. That's been reported back to me that they do see that. They see the speed limits, people obeying the speed limits a little more there. Also, Merritt Avenue. I had a lot of complaints from Merritt Avenue, people flying down Merritt Avenue. That's been addressed. There's more police presence in Merritt Avenue. So we're all doing good with that. I am not a Facebook guy, but I'll tell you something about Facebook. There was a lady getting out of the Venetian in South Amboy, lives on Ulner Street in Saraville. She could not get into her yard because her yard was badly plowed out. So yes, there are people that are doing it. They wanted $500 to shovel this lady's house out. This is ridiculous. This is what I do. I volunteer all over. I'm still plowing last week people's driveways, everything. So the day of the lady's post on Facebook, I went to Ulner Street. I met the guy there, just happens to do the same thing I do. His name is Steve Thatcher. He's the South Old Bridge Volunteer Fire Department guy. He came from Old Bridge because he saw the same post on Facebook as my wife did. Because I was going there to see what I needed to do it for the next day, because it was too late in the day for me to do it. So the next day I was going to go there and take care of this lady so she can come home. This guy did everything same as I did, but he did a great job. And I want to commend him for coming from Old Bridge to come to Saraville to help somebody out. But that's what we do. We help the people out in the town. But somebody charging an older lady $500 to shovel their snow at their yard and clean their driveway. Good thing he wasn't there when I was there. I'm telling you. What else do I got? Community garden, Upper Main Street, water and sewer, police department I mentioned. I'm good. Thank you, Mayor, for your time.
That's it. Thank you, Councilman. Planning and Zoning, Council President Zabrowski.
Thank you, Mayor. And Josh, thank you for that dedication, for all that hard work and helping out during the storm. One of the things I wanted to say, because I know we get a lot of complaints at times, but I got to tell you, what I also saw was an awful lot of cooperation from an awful lot of residents from an opportunity that, a 10-year storm. And I'm thankful and honored to be a lifelong resident of Saraville and seeing the wonderful things that I did see over this cold spell. One of the things I also saw was, and I was a little frustrated like Mary with First Energy. Going back about 2 years ago when we started all the brownouts and power outages and stuff like that, I compiled a list of 10 questions, which I thought were the most essential questions of where are we at in Saraville and what do we need and what is First Energy doing for our infrastructure to improve the quality of what we're receiving in our electricity. I never got a response. And we've asked for the representative to come to meetings and for various reasons have not shown up. But I normally don't, like Stosh, take to Facebook, but I did for that because I think it's important that the rest of the community partake in what I did is in contacting our Board of Public Utilities and showing my frustration and also sharing those questions that I had for First Energy because quite frankly, we need an answer. We need an answer as to why this is happening. And I think the answer is you just haven't put enough effort over the years on our infrastructure, but we're tired of it. We pay a lot for our bills, electric bills, and we have expectations. They're not high expectations. The expectations is the lights go on, the heat is on, and we're comfortable in our homes. And I for sure was not comfortable in my home for those hours in which the power went out. So I commend all the residents of Saraville that also took up that cause and also emailed or called the Board of Public Utilities. I want to congratulate Chris Barsley, who's going to be our first OEM coordinator, full-time coordinator. haven't had the opportunity to do that on a part-time basis. This is a very good thing for our community. There are a number of things our OEM does for us on a daily basis. In addition to being crisis management, looking for grants and ensuring that that all our community is safe. So congratulations to him. As most of you know, he was our chief for the Sayreville Auxiliary, a volunteer organization, as well as a full-time dispatcher. So he's going to do a wonderful job there. Jay, thank you for starting the discussion with the Middlesex County Department of Transportation on the request for a traffic light in front of Winding Woods Apartments. I will continue to follow up, and I really hope that that dialogue moves forward quickly. And thank you for doing that. Hervé, I want to follow up on what you talked about, our volunteer first responders, and Mary, what you discussed about the fact that our budget discussions are coming up. It's time for us to put our money where our mouth is, and that is, it's been a long time since our first responders, our first aid, and our firemen have received higher contributions to our LoSAP and also to their clothing allowance. And if we are going to recruit, and if we are going to retain, and we're having a difficult time doing that, we must provide the necessary incentives to do that. And I hope that that's going to be a major goal on the next budget for that. And finally, for planning and zoning, SARA meeting is this Thursday. We have a workshop at 6 and our regular meeting starts at 6:30. Planning board meets next Wednesday. The last meeting was canceled because there was nothing on the agenda. That's next Wednesday at 7:30. And the Board of Adjustment meets at the last Wednesday of the month, and that's upcoming as well. Mayor, that is my report. Thank you.
Thank you. The comments I have are about the Historic Society. It's just a business issue. So when the building is finished, when the interior is done, and I don't know where we are on that, Jay, and then the exterior, and we have a critical need for more office space because the construction department are in the 4 trailers on the end of the parking lot. And those trailers were generously donated to the borough 25 years ago. Jimmy Gillette called me up, and he's in the construction business, and he said he had 4 trailers, and could we use them, which we certainly could at that time. So that being said, we need the construction department, and we need the office space. That being said, the Historical Society is made up of volunteers, great volunteers. But under the borough's management, we have attorneys and engineers, and we have the ability to allocate funds for bringing this up to code, 2025 code. It's just a prudent thing to continue till the other thing is, I have the president of the Historical Society, Frank Terzino. He is actively part of meeting with the architect and reviewing the plans and giving his input. And he brings, I think, Art Rittenhouse, who's a trustee. So nobody's being excluded, but from a practical perspective, the way we're doing it makes an awful lot of sense. Like I said, we had our grant writer look for historical grants, and they were small in dollars. So by the time, and if this is indeed a $3 million project, by the time that we would have gotten any kind of grant money, the building would have probably collapsed. I mean, it would have taken years to get this kind of money. So I'm very comfortable having the borough in control, particularly during the renovation and restoration of the building. Any business banker would all agree with that it's where it should be, and it's being overseen by who it should be overseen by. That being said, it is shared with the local historical society, but I'm not sure of their membership, as they are completely autonomous from the borough. So I don't know if they have contractors. I don't know if they have restoration contractors. Just, it's in where it should be. That being said, we'll move to general discussion items and our business. Oh, by the way, there was one thing. Let me put on reading glasses. My wife sent me a text last week, and she says, Wahoo, we weren't eligible for the senior property tax freeze. Jim, if you could take that outside, please. Yeah, well, we weren't eligible for the senior property tax freeze, but we did already get the $1,250 anchor benefit. And yesterday we got a notice that we'll also get $4,146 for the state New Jersey benefit, which will be paid in quarterly installment. And she writes, these two things are offsetting property taxes, effectively cutting ours in half. We pay $10,000 a year in property tax. We live over in Woodside, and that seems to be the going rate for our town. So it's money, it's out there, and you just need to apply it. Special thanks to our Assemblyman and Speaker of the House, Craig Coughlin, who put these rebates together. He is indeed a friend of Saraville. Glenn, you had something to add in addition to this?
Just to remind everybody that's eligible, and that's 65 and over, or those that are disabled, the Stay NJ program applications are out now. So if you're eligible, it's recommended that you apply for those
And
too.
who could they call to get an application or get the link?
I believe there's actually a Stay NJ website. If you give me a second, I could tell you exactly.
Nicole, could you put that on the borough website and put it out as a Facebook blast?
Yeah, we'll get that out.
Glenn, question for you. Somebody asked me that I didn't know. Are you eligible the year you turn 65 or the day you turn 65?
I have no idea.
Okay. So I'm not the only one. Okay, go.
Okay, Glenn, go ahead.
No.
Authorization to award a contract to Tactical Public Safety for the 2026 radio system maintenance through NJC contract in an amount not to exceed $72,318.25.
Any objection? Next item.
An application for membership as a firefighter received from Ryan Sutton, accepted by President Park at their December 9th, 2025 meeting.
Any objection? Next item.
Authorization to appoint Christopher Bardsley to Director of Emergency Management retroactive to January 1st, 2026.
Any objection? Next item.
Authorization to promote Vincente Buffalino from Public Safety Telecommunicator to Supervising Public Safety Telecommunicator retroactive to January 1, 2026.
Any objection?
I just have one thing. I'd like it to indicate that it's acting. Is it provisional? No, I think it's acting because we don't have a list. Or provisional because we don't have a list?
We don't do really too much provisional anymore.
Yeah, I think it'd be considered acting because we don't have a list.
He just goes to that title until the
Yeah.
test, I believe.
I just don't want anybody to say later, well, you already promoted him to it, because I know that is a competitive test.
It is, and we're going to be compelled to do a test once civil service gets around to that. That could be a year or two. And at which time then the council can determine off of the eligible list who they'd like to permanently give that to.
Is that, I'm not trying to start trouble here, but I know that you can't have, by civil service rules, I wish Becky had stayed, you can't have an acting for any more than 6 months at a time.
That's why I think they just go into that title for right now until the test comes out.
Yeah,
Tomorrow.
please,
I think
George, check.
the correct phrase is provisional, pending the outcome of testing. I believe that's the correct phrase that would be employed here. But I'll verify that and let you know tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else, Glenn?
No, that's it, sir.
Okay, CFO's report.
Oh, thank you. Sorry about that. Thank you, Mayor. I just have a transfer resolution on. Thank you.
Thank you. Borough Attorney.
Nothing this evening. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, public portion, anyone with questions or comments? Yes, young lady.
Hi, I'm Lisa Braun from Driftwood Drive, and I just had a comment I wanted to read for the Sayreville Arts Council.
Go ahead.
Congratulations to the Sayreville Arts Council just appointed this evening. This Arts Council is something that is not specific to any political, religious, or cultural group. It is for every single person in this town. We spend so much time arguing and fighting and being negative about everything in this town, but this is something very positive that affects everyone. My family and I are very passionate about music. Both my husband and my son are both amazing musicians. We spend all summer long going from town to town to enjoy outdoor concerts. For so many years, we wish Sayreville would have something like this, as we definitely have the venue for it. Woodbridge, for example, has had bands 6 days a week all summer. We've seen so many, but what stood out to us last year was the level of detail this committee put into every show Sayreville had. You didn't just sit in your lawn chair and watch. You were able to enjoy the theme of the night with specific food, decor, speakers, dancers, and activities. The high school has had Bon Jovi, Dave Sabo, and so many upcoming things that are lined up to help recognize the arts, and we as a town need to match that. Personally hearing from Dave Sabo, he was honored to meet the kids at the high school, and in his words, he said, "I must admit that in recent years, I have watched music become less and less important in people's lives. To a certain degree, it has become background noise. But seeing those young adults yesterday helped restore my faith in the beauty and importance of music and art." This committee needs your support, both personally and financially, to make this program bigger and better and show our town you are capable of doing something so positive for all of its residents. And maybe even more importantly, the committee's focus on entertainment activities for teens is something we need as well. Halloween was just a stepping stone last year, and I've heard ideas being thrown around this year, which I know many teens will love. I've attended some of the cultural arts planning meetings, and as long as they have your support, there are many others, including myself, who will be happy to volunteer to help at these events. This committee can make a huge impact and difference in this town if we let them and support them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Ken?
Thank you, Mayor Ken Olszewski, Sayreville. I want to address the power failure, not only last 2 weeks ago, but for the last several years. I have probably had at least 10 power failures over that period, probably more than I've had in the prior 25 years combined. I addressed you people when you started meeting at the senior center with this fiasco with the elevator. Jersey Central First Energy is a highly troubled utility. I know because, as I told you at that meeting, I own numerous ones, and I follow them very closely. If you don't believe me, just Google it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. These power failures are not an act of God. They're not coming from storms. They are negligence on the part of Jersey Central. And we're not in a third world country where, you know, they turn the power off a couple nights a week in many of these countries. That's not where we're living. And as Councilwoman Novak said, it's in the same area of town all the time. It's from, I can't tell you exactly, the Kaplan Pit over to Park Village and all the side streets over to Washington Road. It's that whole quadrant that's out all the time. So we don't need Dick Tracy. You know, and we don't need Sherlock Holmes to figure out this is an issue with a lack of power. I'm glad to see, I did see Councilman Zabrowski with some stuff on Facebook. And I'm glad he's at least addressing it. I think you're a couple years late, Councilman. Know where you were the first 2 years of your term, and you're probably a Johnny-come-lately on this. But I've been on top of it from square one. And I told you, and I told everybody down there, and I can't see where anything was done. And with all due respect, having the residents contact the BPU, was that a joke you put in there? Because the idea that the residents are going to get something out of the BPU is a joke. We can't get anything out of the Sayreville Borough Council. If you really want to get serious about this, you need to contact the 19th district officials, and you need to bring them in here. Do you know who they are? You know their names? Do you want their phone numbers? Do you want their address? You need to get them in here and advertise the $40,000 man that you just appointed tonight. Have him put something in his nonsense about not only feel-good things in the borough. Did he ever put anything in about the elevator? Did he ever put anything about the power problems in town? Of course he didn't. No, nobody wants to deal with that. And you people have done nothing. We need help. And I'm tired of it. This is threatening when you talk about your heat is out for hours in 10-degree weather. And I'm glad you opened the active adult or senior center, whatever you want to call it. Did you provide transportation to bring any vulnerable people in there? Was that done? No, I'm sure it wasn't. I'm sure it wasn't. It's sad that we're at this point, and it's sad that we've got a governing body that's basically going to do nothing. Mayor, why don't you bring your friends in from Woodbridge? You remember how you brought them in to give the $60 billion company, to give them a pilot? When they said, oh, the sky is falling in if we don't give them the pilot. Maybe you can bring them in from Woodbridge, Mayor. Maybe they can help us. This has to go to, it's got to go to the BPU. That Jersey Central's not going to address it. The councilman said, we contacted, Mary's contacted them. You don't even get them to show up. It's got to go to the BPU, and it's got to be done by our 19th district people. You represent 48,000 people. The 19th district people, do you know how many they represent? 240,000 people. They've got it. We've got the speaker in our district. And of course, we need the senator because the senator has to confirm appointments to the BPU. So please, let's take a look at that. And it ultimately probably, it needs to go to the BPU. It probably needs to go to a lawsuit by the BPU or the Attorney General's office for failure to provide power to the people of Sayreville. So I would appreciate it if you would consider that, not blow this off like I blew off the last one 9 or 10 months ago, and not look for political gain in this thing. Look to help the people of Sayreville. And Mayor, let me say in the last moment about your wife, a very good thing. It's one of the things about it, the income limit is $500,000.
Wow.
So don't blow it off if you got a lot of money. And they take half your taxes and they subtract what they already paid you on any of these two programs, and they pay you quarterly for it. Thank you very much.
Jim?
May I just say one thing to Art? I agree with you. I'm sorry, Ken, I agree with you. I wrote directly to the BPU. They never responded to me. So I sent another letter, asking where the response was from the first letter, and I was ignored on that one too. So they're not listening to the mayor and councils. I agree that we got to go higher because they just ignore us.
Another 15 minutes for the council meeting, but oh boy, maybe you'll get overtime for staying here.
Jim, if you would, young lady? Yes.
Jessica Vant, Parlin. Thank you for the appointment to Cultural Arts tonight. Our group is very excited to get to work together and deliver amazing events this year. Sharon and Chris did an excellent job managing the budget last year, and the Halloween event was a tremendous success. We look forward to building on that momentum, and on behalf of the group, I would like to request that you consider increasing our budget for 2026. This would allow us to provide even more impactful events in the community. As a realtor, I see how towns that have strong community involvement and events really thrive. It only adds value to our borough. Our team is committed to introducing teen events and creating fun experiences for the kids this year. I'd like to point out that according to the New Jersey Department of Education, 39% of the students in our district are considered economically disadvantaged. This is a great example of why it's so important for us to create community events for families that are fun and affordable. Please keep this in mind when considering a potential budget increase for cultural arts this year as you're creating the budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Jim?
Thank you very much. I too am happy the elevator is working. It was out for 10 months, and then within, 7 to 10 days after the council finally passed an emergency resolution. It got fixed, so that's great. There was something I wanted to bring up at the last meeting. I ran out of time. And that had to do with the Crossman redevelopment. And my suggestion is this. I think when Sarah or whoever that was referred to next, the planning board, when they take a look at it, there are two things I think they should take a look at. One is there is a connection between that, excuse me, and the Main Street bypass, which, as we know, hasn't been completed. I think that ought to be a part of that redevelopment study to find a way to incorporate expanding, continuing the Main Street bypass, which is so very necessary. The other thing I was going to say is, I've seen a lot of places, I'm involved in a lot of affordable housing things. I've seen a lot of places where on the first floor they have commercial, on the second floor they have apartments that can be affordable. And that means you don't have to, you're on top of a building. You don't have to knock down trees. You don't have to buy other property. I would suggest that be a part of that. I talked at the last meeting about our sesquicentennial. And Mayor, I know you read my Facebook things. I posted something from the centennial the other day, and within 24 hours, 300 people commented on it. What great memories it brought back, how pleasant it was, how fun it was. And I would very strongly suggest, I know that I talked to Dr. Labrie the other day, the schools would be happy to participate in the borough's anniversary. I know the Historical Society would be anxious to participate in that. So I would very much suggest that in addition to the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, we do something like that because it builds community spirit. And if you just take a look at the comments on my posts, people really, somebody said it was the best borough party they'd been to. Now that might have been because there was a beer truck out here, and I think the kid was 18 at the time. But anyway, it was a good time. As somebody who was involved with that, it was a good time. We did a lot of good things. So I would suggest that. I'm happy that Morgan is getting a new fire engine. What's happening to the old one?
It'll be offered for sale.
Offered for sale. Okay, thank you very much. We're talking about the warming center. On days when we don't open the warming center, I have on a few occasions seen some folks who I assume are homeless sleeping over by the mini mall. I've called the police and say, what can you do? They didn't have a good answer. They said there's a shelter in New Brunswick, but they don't transport to New Brunswick. I think that's something, especially in this weather, that we ought to take a look at, making sure that there's something in place there for those folks. I will say this, Dosh, when the governor declares a state of emergency, there's an anti-gouging law that goes into effect. So anybody that charges $500 for a driveway during a state of emergency is in violation of that law, and there are pretty strict penalties for that. You might recall during Sandy that was implemented. You can get in serious trouble for that, and morally, it's just outrageous what they were doing. Our good friend Craig Coughlin, that you just referenced, Mayor, I know a number of us talked to him a couple years ago, and he said he would have been happy to help us get state funding for the firehouse. Mary, I think you were involved in some of those conversations. I know we also talked to the commissioners. So the idea that there wasn't money there, that's just not accurate. And that it's going to be a state-of-the-art facility, the mayor said, a modern state-of-the-art facility, and we're using historic preservation money for what is going to be a state-of-the-art facility on a building that we won't declare historic. Something isn't right there. Something just doesn't make sense. And since I have 8 seconds left and it is National Pizza Day, I wish you all a happy National Pizza Day. Thank you.
Is there anyone else? Please come up.
Good evening, Council. My name is Brianne Rogers. I am a mostly lifelong Saraville resident, and I also run an animal rescue in Saraville. But I am talking to you tonight about the Cultural Arts Department. I want to thank you, first of all, for appointing me to that department and to that committee. It has been such a pleasure getting to know this group of individuals. One of the things that I am very passionate about on this committee is the teen program. And I think that it's safe to say that if budgets are cut for cultural arts, that is going to be the first thing that goes, because that seems to be what has been the first thing that goes or doesn't even get incorporated. Our teens in town need somewhere to go on a regular basis. If we can offer them monthly, bi-monthly, that's a start. But we just had a shooting in this town recently that involved 2 teenagers. And it's something that we need to really look at as the adults in this community. I have a 13-year-old daughter in this community. I know what these kids are going through because I see it in my own home. They go to school, they hear this rhetoric, they get clicks, they go online, they're being brought up by social media in some household where they're taught who they should like and who they shouldn't based on somebody else's views. We need to give them a space where they can come together and join together no matter the background, the culture, the home life. It doesn't matter. And they can learn just what it is to be kids in an environment that is safe and welcoming and nourishing to their growth and character. So I just wanted to come up here. When you're thinking about the budget, keep those teens in mind. I see a lot of things in this budget that have a lot of numbers attached to them, but none of them equals the cost of a teenage life that could possibly be saved by having a safe space to go. So if you could please keep that in mind, that cultural arts, our teens are the heart of this community. They are what makes up the culture that is going to be coming up into this community. So if we don't give them a space to have that mindset, have those ideas be nourished and let them bloom in a positive environment, then we're doing them a great disservice. And no matter what we do for this town, as those kids grow up, we're going to see that disservice being played out within our environment and within our community. So thank you.
Just to bring you up to date with a 2-year history. A little over 2 years ago, I was speaking with somebody with a young family. And we were talking about life in general. And I was informed that if you have children that are in youth activities, whether it's athletic or dance or gymnastic, that all of your money goes for those activities. Whether you're doing special coaching, summer programs, travel. She said, we're broke. We're broke for our kids. So the vacuum that I saw in town, and the reason I revitalized the cultural arts was the summer. Because my feeling was, and my kids, I'm a grandfather, and my grandkids are in college. So it's been a long time. But long story short, I made the assumption that I wasn't looking to compete with anything September to June. I was looking to fill in the summer months. And that was when I spoke to Moira McCormick, who was the first chair of the cultural arts. I said, Moira, I think when I was a young person growing up, once a week you had, basically in those days, you had high school bands and everybody would come to those. So that's in the past. And Moira's a young person. And I wanted the perspective of a young person with kids that were grammar school, junior high school. And so I said, let's start out with summer concerts. So that was the genesis behind reviving the cultural arts. The big thing I was very concerned about was I didn't want to compete with high school events, whether they're sporting or drama or music. I saw no upside to that. So as you go forward, the big thing I'm really looking to fill in is if you're not on vacation with your parents for those 12 summer weeks, you have a tendency to get into trouble. And I was looking to fill that time slot first, where, and again, the big thing to me is for the residents, it's free. Because it started out, parents with small children, or with school-age children are pretty tight on money because of the cost of extracurricular activities. The summer is like a dead time. So that was my hope when I revived it. When the summer is full, I think it's, it would be appropriate to look at other things, but we're not in the competition. You're gonna have 3 events that are separate. You have Saraville Day. Last year, we had the first Festival of Lights, which was an Asian Indian. And this year, we'll have our first Latin Day. If you look at the demographics of Saraville, the largest group is 20% Latin, 18% Asian Indian, and about 13% African American. So, each in its time. So the next one after the Latin Day is I think you went to that flag raising. Is now called Pan American or Pan African rather.
African.
That's the correct term.
Yes, sir.
So it would be appropriate to have a Pan-African Day. But we're doing one thing at a time. So as you go forward this year, remember, it's summer, summer, summer. That is the critical need. In my opinion, you're a mother, other people on cultural arts are a mother. We got to fill in the summer hours.
I agree with you 100% that we have to fill in the summer hours. But also with what you were saying about there's so many things during the school year, that's where those cliques fall into play. The football players go to football games, the cheerleaders go to football games, the theater kids go to play and drama. There is no community space for these kids to come together as a whole, or for the families that maybe you've got a single mom who works the weekends. Maybe it's a good place for her teen to go and hang out where she's not worried about that.
Doing what, dear?
A single mom who works the weekends, and maybe we offer a program once a month where, she knows her kid can be hanging out in a safe environment. And maybe that kid can meet somebody there who's an adult, who's a trusted, safe person, or another friend of a different ethnic background. And I understand what you're saying where we're focusing on, actually, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't understand what you're saying when we're focusing on one culture at a time. Because the object of cultural arts is to have a diversity of cultures. So I understand wanting to bring in certain cultural aspects to the community as an individual aspect, like Latin Day for Latin Americans and Pan-African Day for that culture. But when we're talking about cultural arts, we're talking about the multicultural diversity. And I think that our children are our greatest melting pot for that, for lack of a better word. They go to school and they're all in one area, but they're not taught to be together in one area, if that makes sense. So I understand what you're saying, where you want to focus on individual nationalities. But when I also spoke to Brian from the rec department after the Christmas parade, he had told me that one of his biggest things that he was hoping to get into town is more of a teen program, because the rec department does focus
More what?
more of a teen program, because the rec department does focus more on the younger children.
Yeah.
So I think that if Brian from the rec department is on board with getting more teen events in town, and the cultural arts is on board with helping to facilitate those events, and we are talking about low-cost events, especially for the teens, where we can kind of just recreate on a monthly basis, I think that's something that maybe we should be open to. That's all I'm saying. Yes.
I expect this, but my first priority is to fill the summer. Because,
Understood.
years ago, I was giving out the mayor's trophy at the marching band behind the high school. And at about 11 o'clock, one of the police officers came over to me and he says, "Mayor, we have a complaint. Somebody lived behind ShopRite. They're complaining about the noise and they want to speak to the mayor." They called the police department about it. And the police department says, "Well, when the mayor finishes handing out his trophy at the band competition, he'll call you." I would rather have the kids doing that than other things. So I've sat up here for 25 years, and this isn't the first time I've done it. when I see someone is passionate about identifying an issue, I generally charge them with the solution. And I'm not being a wise guy about this. You have young children, you see the world differently than I do. So the board, first of all, in the borough, in the world of government, it's all about crossing Ts and dotting Is and staying in the budget. So that's your first charge. It's not budgets are not unlimited. And when the money's gone, the money's gone. There's no coming back for more money.
And I'll admit, I do not understand how budgets work. I mean, I ran businesses before, but when it comes to government, I don't understand how budgets work.
First of
So-
all, there's a misnomer. Government is not a business and it cannot be run as a business. It just, in all my years in government, it's just not a business. There's no P&L statement. It's just revenue and expense. So that being said, you have a good group of people here and you'll do great things for Saraville. And I applaud you for volunteering and we're here to help you, make it happen.
Thank you.
But I will ask you, it's the summer. All right? And that's what needs to be filled for the kids. And at Saraville Day, we rent the inflatable rides, right? And it gets a fair amount of play. There's different things you can incorporate, but you'll find your way. I'm quite sure of it. You're very talented people, and you all have young kids, and that's exactly the perspective that I was hoping for on this committee. So I got what I wanted. Now, you work on what you want.
Well, hopefully we can fill the summer with events and then we can keep moving forward, then we'll get more of a budget.
Yeah, but I
Keep
charge you,
growing.
as you come up with the solutions. But it's not, the other thing that people get very frustrated easily if you come from the private sector to the public sector, nothing happens quickly.
Oh, that I know.
So nothing happens quickly.
No, it doesn't.
Right.
And the things that you want to like go slow tend to happen quickly.
Right.
Right? Time
Right.
flies when you're having fun, but when you need something done, it tends to go like a snail.
Okay.
But I
Thank you for
appreciate
volunteering.
Of course. Thank you so much, friend. You guys have a great night.
You too. Anyone else? Sharon,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to speak for a minute.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I got one more thing. When I was talking about Facebook earlier, there was another posting on Facebook about the elevator. I am willing to work with everybody up here on the council for the betterment of the town of Saraville. But it's hard for me to work with people when they're posting on Facebook, since they've been on the council only for a month, they repaired the elevator already. This council up here was definitely aware of the elevator. We brought it up periodically. We were under contract with a company for the elevator. Yes, I've heard that we could break the contract or whatever, in emergency repairs, but we had a contract with them. They were supposed to repair it. They did not repair it. It was overdue, but we got another contractor to do it. And it was repaired in a timely manner and we were back in action again. I don't want, if the other side takes credit for that, please let them tell me, what did the scope of the first contract? Where did they get the second contractor from? And how much was the repairs and what was done to it? Tell me. If you guys fixed it, tell me what you did to fix it. Who'd you get? How did they fix it so fast? But somebody's posting this on Facebook.
I am posting that on Facebook?
No,
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't say you.
I haven't posted anything about
Just
that.
Nobody said you either. I'm not mentioning anybody's names, but it's on Facebook. Look who posted it. Figure it out. It's not that hard. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Sharon?
Chris came and handed this out. I don't know if it made its way down to you
Yeah, but
guys.
Sharon, this is one of the things about the government rules. Your first meeting isn't until March 5th. So your committee hasn't met to vote on that.
No, I know. No, we were just giving you ideas of what we were talking about.
Okay.
This is just like an example.
Okay, but please don't, because you haven't had this doesn't exist, this can't exist because you haven't had your first meeting, you haven't had your organizational, where you're
No, but
appointing.
we've been talking. We're a group that talks.
No,
We're
no.
on a joint
I have
text
no
message.
doubt about it. There's
We're
great
very
energy.
excited, yeah,
There's
we're very
great
excited
energy.
to get working.
But government is about crossing Ts or dotting Is, because there's always somebody. We have people that come here every so often, and what they're hoping is that we make some kind of a mistake and they file a lawsuit, and it goes to our insurance carrier, and they go, give them $10,000 and settle it out. And that's what I'm trying to stay away from.
Okay, I was just sharing
No,
like
but
an
the
example
this is where I come
of what
from.
we were
This is
working
where
on.
I get wildly concerned, because these nuisance lawsuits, they're taking money out of everybody in this room's pocket. And it's unfortunate, but I try very hard to make sure we don't say something inappropriate in the moment of exasperation or something, where you get, what was, John, what was that? They would come around to the police stations, before Plumacher, he bona fide the process, you know? Anybody could come in after he finished it. What the hell was the name of that, Glenn? Plumacher, when he was the captain or lieutenant, he went through the certification, and then people would come to the police station, and it was a setup. And they would ask for certain documents, and if you didn't have them, they'd immediately file a lawsuit. There's a whole business going on about people suing, particularly small towns or any size town. And we've taken great pains to make ourselves current and to be on top of it. So, as I said, you have to wait for your March 5th meetings until you formally adopt your president,
This was
vice
nothing
president.
formal. These were just,
Sharon, like I said.
in any case,
there's-
this is the public portion. I just wanted to thank you guys for meeting with us. Both sides of the council people made time to work with us and deal with us and talk and teach us. And we're very grateful for all of you meeting with us a couple times and educating on us. When Brianna's talking about teen night, we've already ran things past Brian, and Michael has worked with and spoken to Brian if we could utilize the Mickey Sedlak building. It's a property that we have. Can we utilize that once a month? So that's the direction of where we were going. Brian already knows about that part. And just thank you for resurrecting this program for us.
I expect great things.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? There being none, I'll take a motion to close the public portion.
Second.
Is there a motion?
I made it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call? All in favor? Take a motion
Motion
to
to
adjourn.
adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion, meeting's adjourned.